Hey, 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 Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with day 13 of the Chronic Pain Challenge. It is probably the most heated debate and hot topic and political nightmare that we've got going right now. And my phone says I'm not live, but I believe I'm live, so I'm going to just roll with it. Again, day 13, this is probably the most politically charged and emotionally charged topic that we're going to discuss throughout this 30-day challenge. And it is the whole medication, supplements, way of dealing with chronic pain and treating chronic pain. And the reason it's such a hotbed is because of this whole opioid thing that's being perpetrated by the government in order to make it look like they're doing something to help the problem of addiction with heroin and overdosing and things, and actually only cracking down on and hurting pain patients. And I don't even want to get into that whole topic because it's such a mess, and I have such strong opinions about the nonsense that the government and the DEA and other regulatory agencies are trying to do. I mean, it reminds me of my life in corporate America, where somebody's tardy all the time. One person in, say, a department of 50 is tardy all the time. So the manager's scared to talk to that one person and hold them accountable for their behavior. So they have HR create this elaborate attendance and tardiness policy that they then roll out to everyone because it's easier and less uncomfortable to deal with everybody and than it is to actually have to face up to talking to the one person that's the problem. And our government and organizations operate the exact same way. It's hard to control and round up and do something about the actual drug problem and the people that are really ODing and killing themselves and hurting other people. So it's easier to go and attack the people that are already regulated and are already under a system that's easy for them to control. It makes absolutely no sense, and it will never make any sense. So there's no point even discussing it. We need to figure out how to get what we need within the system, even if the system is broken. So medications and supplements, again, we're each different. We each metabolize things differently. What works for me probably won't work for anybody else that is in even my immediate family, much less other people. That's why it's so important that we use ourselves as a science experiment and we figure out what works for us. Now, you might not have realized this yet, but your doctor's using you as a kind of a science experiment. They prescribe things, and it may or may not work for you. And then if it doesn't work for you, you tell them, and they get you something else. You try something else. We need to do the same thing with ourselves, and we really need to be paying attention to what they are giving us and how it does impact us and what effect it has on us. Now, some things are easier than others to know personally if it's affecting you or not. Some of the things that are prescribed to deal with chronic pain and the anxiety and depression and other symptoms and things that are associated with chronic pain are harder for me to know how they're affecting me. And that's why I need to count on other people to say, yeah, you're not acting like yourself. We need to get you something else. And we're going through that in my family right now. And it just happens. It's part of the process. But it's not just the process for our prescribed medications. It's also the process we need to go through as we search out and we find other things, natural things, and supplements like vitamins and minerals that help alleviate our chronic pain, and type things like energy drink mixes. There's so many things available nowadays that you have to be willing to, number one, look into and find some of those things that will work for you. Even things like spices and things like turmeric really help me, and curcumin really help me with my inflammation. But I have to be willing to look into and find those things and then experiment with those things in my diet, as well as to supplement what I'm eating to make me feel better and to reduce my chronic pain. So the challenge for you today, it's a pretty easy one. And I want to just show you a couple things quick and how I handle my supplementation and keeping track of it. But the challenge today is that I want you for the next 24 hours to write down exactly what you take, when you take it, and like the effect it has on you. So, for example, if you're taking a opioid medicine and it's prescribed 4 times a day, well, or as needed, what you need to do is you need to write down the exact thing you're taking, the quantity you're taking, what time you're taking it, and then how long it takes before you feel some pain relief. And then the same thing with our supplements. For example, I drink bulletproof coffee every morning. And I didn't start out drinking it every morning, but I experimented with myself and I figured out that when I drink, and all bulletproof coffee is it's coffee with some fat and very refined coconut oil in it. It helps my joints and it alleviates my arthritis symptoms and pain. I had to experiment and play with that and play with the different quantities of the oil that I put in my coffee. And you have to do that with everything. But all I want you to do today and for 24 hours is to write down absolutely everything you're currently taking and doing, what times you're taking and doing it, and how it's impacting you. For example, I actually have been doing this for a long time, and I do these pill packs, and I have 4 of them, and I do a month at a time. I do a month-long test of my different supplements, and I add them and subtract them as they're working. Now, I theoretically should do this 1 supplement at a time, but last year I had such a bad flare, I didn't do that. I just added a whole bunch of stuff, everything I thought would help, and now I'm actually taking things away. I am down to 1 prescription medicine, and I will admit I tried to not take it for a year, and it sent my blood pressure absolutely sky high, dangerously high, and so my cardiologist informed me that I needed to go back on it immediately, and I would be taking that one the rest of my life. So as opposed to medications, as I like to think I am, and against pharmaceuticals, for me personally, not for other people, because everybody needs to do what they need to do, but for me personally, I find that I'm not getting away from this baby, and I just have to resign myself to the fact that I have to take it. But I even had to experiment with that because it makes me really ornery and grumpy, and I didn't realize that until my sister was staying with me, and she informed me that I was being a heinous bitch whenever I took my medication in the morning because it's a time release once a day thing. And I ended up switching that to like at bedtime. So now I take it at bedtime, and so all the worst effects of it, I sleep through, and it makes me a lot more pleasant person to be around. So you just got to be willing to figure out what works best for you. But again, today's challenge is just to document exactly what you're doing right now. And there's a reason. I want you to find out that if you wait an extra half hour because you forget to take a medication on time, according to the schedule of what works best for you, your pain goes up 3 points. You need to know that so that you can do things so that you make sure you take your medicine on the exact time that's best for you. That's it. Go out, make it an awesome pain-free day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.